Good evening, guys, and welcome back to the classroom with Architect Mark. Tonight, we're going to be talking about something also integral to uh, creating your own or establishing yourself within the photography industry. And uh, it's I wouldn't say it's integral, but it can really help. So let's head on over to the classroom, and then let's talk about identity in uh, photography, right? With the help of Lightroom. Start the timer here. Now, of course, throughout the course of you using uh, Lightroom or your photography journey, you'll definitely be going through a lot of photos. As you can see here, the bottom number is 9,384, and that's uh, not even high, actually. If you look at some other catalogs, they'd be, I mean, this is just fraction of that. So I used to, one of the easiest ways to actually put your identity on a photo. Okay, let's find one here. Let's say, needs to be here though, because these have so many photos that might not be here. Okay, let's just go with a simple one like this one. Right. So one of the quickest ways to put your identity on a photo is by putting a watermark here. And Lightroom is actually kind enough to be able to put that for you out of the box practically. So you can go to, I don't know, where is it here in edit. You can see here that there is at the bottom here after preferences, there is an identity plate setup and edit watermarks. Let's look at this one first, identity plate setup. Okay, so basically, if you have an Adobe ID, you can have a an identity plate here. It's probably something like this. I am not sure where the image that appears, but that's not our focus right here. We can maybe look into that later. But right now, one of the easiest ways is to put a watermark on here. So as you can see, there is a guide given to you about where it will be positioned. Can just maybe put your name there, and then you can because you can use a text watermark like this. You can change the font. Example, let's go with this one. And oh, I used to use that before a lot, but not now. Not anymore now. Let's find a like this one. This much more architectural looking. So you can identify the font, and if you want it to be bold, you can choose that too. Alignment mostly takes into consideration the offset here, and yeah. So some of the other options we have over here. So this next one after the line is shadows if you wanted to have some. The preview, of course, is not showing us a lot, but if you put the shadow on, this will be the settings for that. Opacity, offset, and then radius and angle. It works much like the drop shadow on Photoshop. So that's if you want it to be text. Now, size, this is how much of the image your watermark would be. So right now it's 10% basically. 10% because it's proportional, 10% of the frame. You can increase it. Oh, it's not 10%. It's actually it's supposed to be a percentage of something, but it doesn't seem to be a percentage of the frame. Let's keep it at the default setting earlier. Now let's try also fit and then fill. Okay, so you have some options there. If you want to just bombard the space with your initials, you can actually do that. So it's good, proportional, and then you have here controls for pushing it a little bit inwards, like say, want it inside by 5 and 5 from below. So that's the placement right there. Now, the anchor point, if you move this about, is basically the position of your watermark in your image. So it can be wherever the cleanest area is, you can put your watermark there. And then basically that's it if you wanted a text watermark. Now let's save this and look at our so we just named that so that we have a watermark on the ready here. Okay. But of course, you probably would like a better method by putting an image over here. Now, as you can see, it allows us to choose between a ping or a JPEG. Pings have transparency, so this is one of the better options here if you choose to use this. So let's find my signature and use that. Let's use the black one because I prepared two, so there's a white one also. So right now the black one looks like that. No, we want the white one actually. Okay. And then you can see here that you don't have options for its size in the text options, but here in watermark effects, you can actually control it, like say 20 units. Let's place it at the geographic center and below. Pretty neat, right? So when you let's call this so that's the signature there. So as you can see, when you're editing, you don't see that. You only know that the watermark will be applied when you output this into a format, into a digital file. So let's try that right now. we want to be exporting this current one. The export dialog, you can see here that the watermarking is, you can check it and then identify which watermark you would want to use. Let's go with the signature, and then after export, show it to the Explorer. We can find it easy. So hit export. Basically, what happens is an instance of this image at full resolution and with a watermark inside kind of allows you to identify yourself among others, or your images from others rather. So we're gonna check the output we did earlier. Okay, here we go. So there you have it, the signature and the image. Now, the preview actually doesn't show a signature there, but when you look inside of the photo, you can see that there is indeed a watermark that is baked onto the image. Now, there are few reasons why you would want to do this. One of them being this adds a sort of foreground element which further increases the apparent depth of the photo. So that's a good thing. Number two, of course, and the more important one, is you don't want people to be using your photos without your consent or without notifying you in any way, shape, or form. Now, I used to do this a lot. Let me just pull up the portfolio over here. And you can see here that most of these have watermarks. I believe I was not using Lightroom yet for some of these. Oh, no, I actually was using Lightroom, but some of these I might have put inside of Photoshop instead of Lightroom. But seeing as how many they are, some of the more newer ones probably have put them in Lightroom, because if you can see here, it's all the way up there, and then here in the Blessed by the Sun photo, it's all the way down here. So there's you probably won't be tweaking watermark on each photo, so you just have to trust that your photo will survive with a watermark in place. So I stopped doing this because of this photo right here. So this is a photo of the Mount Pinatubo crater after hiking to it. And as you can see here on the lower right hand side, there is a watermark there. Now, if you watermark your images, they're almost instantly, they cannot be stock footage. So you might want to refrain from doing that unless you're really just starting out and you're really proud of your work. Then by all means, put a watermark on your photo. It can even fill up the entire space so you're 100% sure that people won't try to simulate that because they can't. So I suppose that's it for now. Watermark identity in Lightroom is something that you might want to look into when you're creating your images. I will see you guys again uh, tomorrow or in 2 days because I've been able to do that. And I hope I will see you guys soon. Take care and have a good evening.